A terrific day's racing awaits us at Turffontein on Saturday, the 2nd of April. It's the third leg of the Triple Tiara, and of course, Rain in Holland goes for glory. The third leg is the Wilgeborgsdrift SA Oaks, and it's also the third leg of the Triple Crown, or there's no potential winner, but the classic winner is back to try and add another Group 1 to his CV. 10 races on the card at Turffontein, the first off at 11:45. I'm joined in the studio by Dees Dynand, and we're going to, on this very special GTV preview show, we're going to be focusing on, of course, the Wilgeborgsdrift HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes, the World Sports Betting Derby, and the Wilgeborgsdrift SA Oaks.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic racing, I think, with the relaxed protocols as well, Graham, that they, with the seafood festival along with the classy racing that's on offer, they'll be hoping for a decent crowd to come to the track because there's no lack of quality when it comes to racehorses, and with a name like Comedy Dung, who's really captured the imagination of the racing public, making his way from Cape Town, having won now the Hollywood Bets Durban July and the World Sports Betting Cape Met, now trying to do it in another province. That just takes a great horse to greater heights, winning in all three provinces.
And it takes great courage and great ambition.
100%, we have to give kudos to Michelle Reeks and Harold Crawford, and of course Ashwin Reynolds and the entire team behind Comedy Dung for taking the plunge. We know that his main mission is going to be the Premier's Champions Challenge. That's been stated, and it looks like the right type of trip for him as well. But I've watched some gallops and his well-being up in Gauteng and how he settled down on social media, and I think it's all systems go. So yeah, he's just adding that spice to the race meeting, Graham.
No doubt about it. And talking about Comedy Dung, that's where we're going to start. The Wilgeborgsdrift HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes Grade 1 over 1,600 meters. The field of 12 runners, dominated, of course, by number 1 Comedy Dung, who won the World Sports Betting Cape Met. Let's have a look at the field. Let's bring the field up for this year's renewal of the HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes Grade 1 over 1,600 meters. Number 1 is Comedy Dung. Gavin Lorena retains his partnership D's with Comedy Dung. He's now ridden him, 4 times previously. This will be his 5th run on him. He's won twice previously, both at Grade 1 level. But he was beaten over 1,600 meters. Is he vulnerable over 1,600 meters? Or is the kind of field he's taking on at Turffontein on Saturday a little weaker than he took on in the Queen's Plate?
We have to say that he's earned his mark of 129 over 2,000 meters, which is World Sports Betting Cape Met, and the 2,200 meters of then the Vodacom Durban July. But that said, having run second to a horse that's rated at 130, having won back-to-back, Queen's Plates, you could say he's around, Graham, what you making, 125, 126 over a mile?
Yeah, probably in that region. That long straight at Turffontein is certainly going to suit him. But before we get further into detail, let's bring you some rerun action. We're going to show you Comedy Dung winning the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met over 2,000 meters at Kenilworth on the 29th of January. And we're also going to show you El Muthana, who's come well, having won his last 3 starts. We're going to show you his win over the distance in the Wolf Power Handicap, and that was on the 30th of January.
Also into the clear, flashing with just on 300 meters left to go. Comedy Dung has hit the front, and Linebacker has drawn alongside of him. Down the inside we've got Jet Dark, then comes Double Superlative. It's Linebacker and Comedy Dung. You couldn't get closer. Linebacker, Comedy Dung, these two left to fight it out. Comedy Dung has now taken the lead. He's coming home best of all. Comedy Dung wins the bet. Comedy Dung wins, and it's close.
He's now starting to move up, and so is Stone Cold outside of runners. They come to the final 300, and Al Mutana has come through to pick it up. 300 meters left to go. It's Al Mutana from Stone Cold. In behind that, Chimes in the red, but Al Mutana has got about a 2-length advantage over the field with 100 meters to go, and Al Mutana puts his ears sky high. He's going to win it well, Al Mutana. He's got 4 lengths clear. Al Mutana won it impressively. Stone Cold second. Willow Express.
Well, Dees, there we saw obviously Comedy Dung getting the better of Jet Dark, who got the better of him in the Lawrence Queen's Plate, went over 1,600 meters. So that was a clear indication that possibly it was a touch too far for Jet Dark, although he did win the Champions Cup over 1,800. Or that 1600 meters on all known form is slightly too short for Comedy Ding, but this time he comes to the high felt with a long, long straight to unwind.
You know, Graham, the one thing that we know about this individual is that, you know, regardless of those that try to oppose him and try to beat him in feature races, he's a horse that's always going to give you his best. Michelle Ricks has done an outstanding job with him wherever she's traveled him. So has Gavin Lerena, giving Gavin Lerena his first, Vodacom Durban July win as well. And the word on the ground is that he's settled in beautifully up in Gauteng. That is a big plus because it is a plunge. You know, we get horses that KZN is the neutral ground. You know, Cape Town visits KZN for champion season. Joburg visits KZN for champion season. Very rarely of late, and I'll say of late, I'm talking over the last 10 years or so, you see trainers take the plunge, be it from KZN or Cape Town, to go and raid Gauteng. And kudos, as when you open up the show, you mentioned, well done to the team for traveling him up, because he'll capture the imagination of the crowd. They will have a chance to have a look at him in the flesh, because it's been well documented on how he's warmed the hearts of the Cape Townians. So it'll be great to see him there. Yeah, distance-wise, Graham, I'm not too concerned about the distance. His rating says it all. And the fact is that bookmakers, they looked at the ratings, and I think that's where their hands were handcuffed. This horse is at 11 to 10. I didn't expect him to be 11 to 10. I thought around 16, 18 to 10 was a realistic price for the horse that's traveling and going there for the first time. But they got him at 11 to 10. He's an overwhelming favorite. And when you look at the best weighted column, you mentioned 125, 126 over a mile. I agree with that. He's still a standout. So he's no doubt the horse to beat.
What are the principal threats?
I'm in the camp of El Mutana. I think it's home ground for him, number one. Number two is he's always captured my imagination the way he's been winning his races. And I liked him in the Summer Cup. I'm not saying that he did not see out the distance. He was poorly drawn. He sat towards the back of the field. He was running on smartly. But what I think happened that day is that he is a horse that's just proven over shorter at this stage of his career that he's more effective. 1400, 1600 meters. I'm glad that you picked out the willpower, because there he was in a race of his own.
He demolished his opposition.
Yeah, he made it look very, very ordinary.
And then what was interesting, he came out in the Hawaii Stakes. He won that over 1400 meters. He had MK's Pride behind him. He had a few other runners behind him. Bingwa. Surely, Comedy Ding apart, El Mutana should confirm the form with all of those rivals.
I would think so, and the way the stable's going as well. Mike de Kock, he's going through a purple patch. He's got a wonderful team behind him. Get to listen to Alson in those interviews as well, and they've done an outstanding job with him. And Samanga Kumalo has developed a wonderful relationship with him as well. When you look at his wings, Graham, I actually pulled out his entire profile. 1100, 1400, 1450, 1500, and twice over a mile. So it's home ground, it's a home track, and 1600 meters is going to be perfect for him. So, he's the horse that I'm going to be tipping ahead of Comedy Ding. I have a lot of respect for the horse. Please don't get me wrong. Comedy Ding followers, no doubt the horse to beat, but we'll see how good he is traveling. So I'll go 2 and 1, Graham. And off the balance, well, you can make a case for a lot of them, but these two horses, the 3-year-olds, Captain Lannister and Pyromaniac, those two horses, very interesting. If you're playing it wide in pick sixes, you're not in the camp of 1 or 2, I'll include the 2, 3.
Well, I was going to bring up Pyromaniac because he's second in the Gauteng Guineas behind Safe Passage, where he finished ahead of Red Saxon, was good. And then obviously Captain Lannister, brave run in the Classic, almost going all the way over 1800 meters. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's 1 and 2, and then 11 and 12. But obviously, for me, MK's Pride will be looking for oxygen in the last 200 meters over 1600. Bingwa is, whatever Bingwa is, he's honest, he'll be thereabouts. But so there we go. You're in the camp of Comedy Ding, or you're in the camp of El Mutana. Dees has declared his hand. He's in the camp of El Mutana this time round. And next time round, over 2,000 meters, it might be different. Many will be hoping Comedy Ding gets the job done. But don't be too disappointed if he runs well but doesn't get his head in front over 1,600 meters, because whatever happens on Saturday, he will certainly bounce back over 2,000 meters at the end of April. So let's move on to our next race. The Wilgeborgsdrift SA Oaks Grade 2 over 2,450 meters. It is the final leg of the Triple Tiara, and of course we all know that Rain in Holland won the first 2 legs. She won the Fillies Guineas over 1,600 metres. She won the Fillies Classic over 1,800 metres. Both of those, of course, sponsored by World Sports Betting. Here comes the third leg. It's her race to lose. But before we discuss the race in any detail, let's relive the action from the Wilgeborstdrift SA Fillies Classic, where Rain in Holland came home ahead of Sprinkles and Desert Miracle. We'll also have a look at the Oaks Trial, won by Light of the Moon, narrowly in front of Princess Cash, but this time around Princess Cash does enjoy a few kilograms weight advantage.
Perfect Witness, look yourself towards the outside. Sprinkles running on with Rain and Holland. Any one of the fillies can win in a grandstand finisher. We're set for the finisher of this SA Fillies Classic. It's on the outside. Rain and Holland came up to Desert Miracle. Rain and Holland, Desert Miracle and Sprinkles, but Rain and Holland, it's raining in Johannesburg. And Rain in Holland will prove to be the right one again. Rain in Holland, Sprinkles runs on for second. Perfect Witness third.
Machine, Rattlebag and Princess Cash from the back of the field with 300 to go. It's Light to the Moon as they come to the final 300, the leader by a couple. Princess Cash is trying to wear it down quickly as they come to the final 150. Princess Cash now moving up to Light of the Moon, but Light of the Moon's as game as they come. Light to the Moon on the inside and Princess Cash, we're down to these two. Light to the Moon and Princess Cash, they're going short heads. Light to the Moon, they go to the wire. I believe Light to the Moon beat Princess Cash Defender.
Dee, surely we don't have to spend too much time here because you've got to be a brave man to bet against Rain in Holland. So my question to you is, what will run second?
Yeah, they actually had a bet. I don't see it now on a few of the fixed odds betting operators. They actually had a bet when the entries were out. Rain in Holland, I think, was around 3 to 10, and then you could take the field for around 19 to 10. I see they removed that bet now. Rain in Holland, Graham, is at 2.5 to 10. That's the best price you can get if you're trying to shop around. 2.5 to 10 says it all. I'm actually glad that some of these trainers have put their chest out to try and take her out. I thought this field was going to be 7 or 8 runners at most. Well, she's got 9 horses that are going to try and take her on. You know, she's a clear standout in the best weighted column. I like to go back to when she started off her career, Graham. Lyle Hudson always thought that she could be a star in the making, and I think the day that she showed that was when she won the Tikweni Stakes. I mean, that was...
She had no right to win that race.
No, that was unbelievable. If you watch that replay and you pause it at the 300, and if I ask you which horses run first, you'll say it's Kayleen or Supreme Quest. It was never going to be Rain in Holland. How she checked, gathered her stride, came to the outside, and still found a finish, that was unbelievable. You know, just testimony to her raw ability to race and to run and
that
to get the
victory,
job
of course,
done.
earned the champion 2-year-old filly
Correct.
title at the Equus Awards, and she's certainly gone on to show that that was well deserved.
She took a bit of time, not that she's run badly as a 3-year-old, she just took a bit of time to find her feet. You know, she ran good races in the Ipitombi Stakes.
All too short for her, surely.
Too short, and she's found her feet at the right time. First leg of the Triple Tiara. Arguably, the toughest race for her to possibly try and reel off all 3. I thought the 1,600 meters was always going to be a test for her. They're going to outpace her for most of the way. She was going to be coming at them, but Richard Faria's just got on.
She might have got a little bit lucky. I'm not saying she wouldn't have won it anyway. She might have got a bit lucky in the Guineas, in the Fillies Guineas, that the growing came up hard. Oh, when I say hard to cope with, it was very, very soft.
It was soft, which saw these front runners, you know, horses like Desert Milk. We saw Desert Milk, they stopped to nothing. And Supreme Quest was in that race, a touch unlucky on the inside. But at the line, when you looked at the opposition and the way she was finishing in that race, you knew that the 1,800 meter was going to be hers to lose. And then the 2,450 meter, this is going to be her best distance. Very hard to oppose her in the best weighted column. She's a clear standout. Richard Faria's got on exceptionally well with her unbeaten 2 from 2. She's no doubt the deep in the red favorite, the banker bet of the day. What more can we say, Graham? If you have to ask me about the balance...
What will run second?
Yeah, you know, that's it. You know, I've gone with 3 horses, you know, Clafouti, Evening Primrose, and Green Grow the Lion Legs. I'll tell you, Clafouti, you know, I mean, Graham, she is a full sister to Bayberry, who is a useful stayer and gets 3,200 meters. Last time out, valid excuses, respiratory noise. We'll see how she goes over this distance. Evening Primrose, I respect Garrett Van Zyl. He's not shy to travel his horses as a young man. Cape Town, Gauteng. and he's got a horse that he thinks could be competitive for the minor positions. He's realistic. And then Green Grow the Lilacs from the Dean Kannemeyer stable. You know the Dam Arcola. She was actually owned by Dylan Chinsami when she raced, and she won the Oaks. So we'll see how Kannemeyer's runner goes there. And then you picked out, arguably the next form line to follow in the race with Light of the Moon winning the Oaks trial. So there's lots that we can speak about with form and weight reversals there. But if you have to ask me what's going to run second, I'm going to go Green Grow the Lilacs.
So there we hear it from Dees. Obviously, nobody's opposing Rain in Holland. It's impossible to oppose. Whatever the outcome eventually on Saturday is, from all form, all logic, from the ratings perspective, you simply cannot oppose Rain in Holland. We're not expecting her to have any difficulty in coping with the step up to the trip. In fact, she might even be better, and that's seriously bad news for the opposition. The 8th race is the World Sports Betting SA Derby, 2,450 metres. It goes at 15.50. It's the final leg of the Triple Crown. The first leg was won by Safe Passage, who's not running on Saturday. The second leg won by Red Saxon, so no winner this year for the Triple Crown. But Red Saxon is back to defend his WSB SA Classic title and to prove that his dam side has come through. He's very stoutly bred on the dam side. Julius Mariba, looking for his second Grade 1 success in a matter of weeks. And of course, Joe Soma needs no introduction. He's won 3 or 4 classics before. Red Saxon, an interesting runner. Let's have a look at the field for this year's renewal of the World Sports Betting SA Derby. A bit disappointing, I guess, that Safe Passage is not there. There's the field of 9. They're all on one slide. Mike de Kock represented by Aragosta, who probably poses the biggest threat to Red Saxon. Aragosta ran 5th in the SA Classic. And talking about the SA Classic, before we go any further, let's have another look at the World Sports Betting SA Classic. The closing stages, won in a gritty finish by Red Saxon, narrowly in front of Safe Passage, and a little bit further back behind them was Aragosta. And then we're going to show you the Derby trial, won impressively by Litigation. And I'm going to ask Dees whether Litigation is up to the task to win the WSB SA Derby.
Captain Lannister's clear by 2 to 3 from Zeus. William Robertson is quickening up nicely on the outside. Safe Passages down there inside. Then came Red Saxon. It's Captain Lannister out in front. William Robertson, Safe Passage moving quickly. Down the inside is Red Saxon. These are the ones that count. Captain Lannister, Red Saxon and Safe Passage are coming quickly. Safe Passage and Red Saxon pick it up close to home. Safe Passage, Red Saxon and Safe Passage. It's close. Red Saxon for
to pick it up with 300 metres left to go. Tababua behind that. My Master, they got 3 or 4 lengths to make up on Litigation as they come down into the final 180, and it's Litigation in front here. Litigation leads the way 2 lengths. Tababua, My Master's further back in the field, but it's still Litigation who's in control with 100 metres left to go, and Litigation goes on strongly here to win the Derby trial by 3 lengths. Tababua, My Master behind.
Well, Dees, we know all about Red Saxon, and we were chatting off air. His pedigree on the dam side is very stout, all the way up to 3,200 metres. So he's got this mixed pedigree, if you like. He's by a champion sprinter, but out of a very staying family on the dam side. So my first question to you is, and there are going to be 2 questions to you. The first of the 2 questions, do you have any concerns about him going the 2,450?
I don't have, but I know that Joe has. And you mentioned the dam side, the rodeo suit. I mean, she got, 2,600. I actually remember rock, paper, scissors, because Dylan was involved with that horse, half brother. He just won once, but he won over 2,600. So the way this horse
and that was by 7th Rock, who was also a sprinter.
Correct, Graham. And this horse, Red Saxon, when he won the 1,800, Joe was actually on the fence whether he was going to run him there or not. After his win earlier on in his career, and the way he's been running in the feature races, he took a chance. He took a big chance, and he said, I'll go for it over 1,800 meters. And what a ride. You mentioned Julius Mariba. I mean, credit to the man. When you get Samanga Kumalo, who's animated, strong in the finish, lets you know that I'm all about business now, and you're going to try to come and beat me. And this guy was so cool in the finish, actually went on that inside running rail and won such a good race. I mean, credit to him and credit to Joe for giving the young man a chance. He puts in a lot of hard miles back home, and that was his first Group 1. And the way this horse finished that day, Graham, you know, Safe Passage was given every chance. He was beaten fair and square. Over this distance, if the stamina kicks in from the dam side, he'll have no issues over this trip. 2,450 meters.
And they're not likely to go that hard.
I looked at the field and I tried to look at the pace, because Aragosta is certainly looking for a pace as well. You know, it can be clever tactics by one of these riders, knowing that Rex Saxon is well clear now after getting severely pushed up in the ratings from his win last time.
Isn't that where litigation comes in? He was impressive in the Derby trial. He's won his last two. He's a well-related son of Grazine out of a Jetmaster mare. Gavin Larena takes the ride, and he has had the ride on this horse for the last half a dozen outings or so. His form is solid. He likes to go forward. Is he not going to try and make every post a winning post and try and catch Red Saxon on the hop?
That is the tactics that could be adopted to beat both Red Saxon and Aragosta, because both of them are going to be sitting off the speed, and they'll be hoping that the balance of the field will be coming up for air. This is the unknown in the race, and this stable's got that knack of just rising to the big occasion on feature race days. And an unknown in the race, 2,000 meters last time. It was the first time that he actually stepped up in distance, Graham, and he showed that he appreciated and really stakes for distance. It was no race in that Derby trial. I mean,
he'll beat everything, or should beat everything that finished behind him in the Derby trial. So it's a question as to whether he's rated 97. Red Saxon is rated 118. They obviously being a classic race, they meet at level weights. But over this distance, neither Red Saxon nor litigation has a confirmed rating. It's all very well to say you've got a rating over 8 furlongs and 9 furlongs. Now you're going 12 and a half furlongs.
I agree with you. I actually jotted that down last night. I said, you know, how do you rate these horses after this win? Because if you got Red Saxon as a 118, I mean, it must be a thankless task for the handicappers. And Aragosta comes and beats him comfortably. I mean, do you rate him?
Well, it's which horse is going to appreciate stepping up from 1,800 meters in the case of Red Saxon, in the case of Aragosta, another 450 meters in the case of litigation. Which of those horses is going to handle it best? And then, of course, into the mix is Zeus. For me, he wasn't disappointing in the Classic. I didn't think his form, I'm not trying to be an after-the-race merchant. He won his first 4 starts, but they were in handicap company. But this again, if 2,450 is going to be, he's a half-brother to the Derby winner of a couple of years ago.
Yes.
So he's got a Derby pedigree.
Yes.
So, you know, Zeus could show dramatic improvement over this distance.
And rated very highly by Fabian Habib. I would think that this would have been his main aim. If you know, they may have brought him on just using that run in the Classic. Not that he was not fancy, there was money for him as well. But I think this will be the distance that will give him his true test. Litigation, I'm going to state on the show that he is better than a 97.
I think he is too. I think there's something about him, and I watched him win the Derby trial, which was a far stronger race in my view than the Oaks trial. There was some class about him. I really, on the way to the gate, what I saw in the parade ring, what I saw in the race. But how much he's going to be above a 97. And of course, Red Saxon may run well below a 118 over 2,450. He might run to 100 over 2,450. We can go on and on and on. I'm going to ask you to nail your colours to the mast.
Well, we haven't spoken about Aragosta. We've given Red Saxon the time with litigation, but Aragosta is my top choice.
Well, there you go.
And I'll tell you why. Because when I went and watched the replay of the Sea Cottage, you know, that day, Clafouti set fractions up front. She skipped at the right time. She actually went 3, 4, 5 lengths ahead of the field. And at one stage, I thought, brilliant ride by Keegan DeMille. Not that it turned out to be not a brilliant ride. It was great tactics. And for him to go and fetch her, and he only got her over the last 50 meters or so. When he won that race, I penciled him as my Derby winner, Graham. I said, and I know the Guineas is going to be too short, so will be the Classic. Safe Passage, that's his races to lose. This horse's main mission was always going to be the Derby. And he's run...
You're not going to get any arguments from me. I think Aragosta has got as good a chance as Red Saxon over this trip. He has been beaten by Red Saxon in the Classic, but he's run close up enough, Aragosta has in the Guineas and the Classic, to suggest that this could be, as you've described, his main mission. So I'm not going to argue with you. For me, it's a 3-horse race. 1 Red Saxon, 2 Aragosta, 5 Litigator.
Order of preference?
My order of preference would be Red Saxon, Aragosta, Litigation, but if they came the other way around, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm putting all 3 into my play.
Yeah, I'm going 215. Graham's going 125. We're in agreement with the top 3 in the betting. The top 3 on current form. The unexposed horse being Litigation, Red Saxon, Aragosta. The horses that have been proven at this level amongst the age group. But Litigation is the unknown in the race. Graham, off the balance, if I have to pick your head for just one more runner, for quartets and
well, that would be
trifectas.
Zeus.
That'll be Zeus.
I'd give Zeus the benefit of the doubt.
Well, it's been
maybe Platinum Sky. He ran a horrid race in the Classic. He's got to obviously be better than that. He ran closer behind Aragosta in the Sea Cottage Stakes. He obviously didn't handle the going in the Classic. So Platinum Sky and Zeus would be the best of the rest for me. But there we go. There we go. We trust you've enjoyed this very special GTV preview show of the big race action from Turffontein, Saturday the 2nd of April, where we hope to crown another Triple Tiara winner and welcome Comedy Dung onto the Highveld in a winning note.